Well, this really bums me out, but podcaster Joe Rogan, on whose program I've been a guest twice in the past, has unleashed the Jews love money stereotype, trope, call it whatever you want, which is linked to so much ugly anti-Semitism. Now, I'm going to play the clip and I'm going to talk about it. I do want to say that I don't actually think that Joe Rogan has a genuinely anti-Semitic bone or anti-Semitic ounce of lean muscle mass in his body. I think that he just doesn't understand why saying Jews love money is different than the example he gives of Italians love eating pizza. I just think he doesn't get why. They are two different things, and it's a very bad analogy. And as many of you know, I don't know if Rogan's willing to have me back on his program. You know, I've done some segments since I was last on, which were critical of things he said, but I think I've done them respectfully, and I would be glad to talk about any of my views about his views anytime, and I would love to explain this to him as well. I have no idea, but I don't think that this is about Joe Rogan being an anti-Semite, just based on personally knowing him. Let's get into the segment and hear how it all went down.
Do you see him sitting next to Ilhan Omar, where she's apologizing for talking about it's all about the Benjamins?
Yeah,
which is just about money. She's talking about money.
She shouldn't have apologized.
I'll go ahead and
that's
not an anti-Semitic statement. I don't think that is. It's about Benjamins or money. You know, the idea that Jewish people are not into money is ridiculous.
Listen,
that's like saying Italians aren't into pizza. It's stupid.
Listen,
it's stupid.
I understand.
Okay. So listen, the analogy to Italians eating pizza couldn't be more misleading and it couldn't be more wrong. And there are a number of important points here. First of all, analogizing to Republicans liking pizza, to Italians liking pizza, groups Jews liking money under a category of what we might consider like positive things. And this is the difficulty with some of these anti-Semitic tropes, that in a vacuum, they sound like positive things. You know, when people say Jews do so well in the banking industry, you might mean that in a totally benign way or not, but it's connected to long-standing conspiracies of Jewish conspiracy to control certain industries to their benefit and to the detriment of others. And it's wrapped up in really, really ugly stuff. So the analogy to it's just a good thing, liking money, liking pizza, it's a totally fine and good thing. That's one issue, which is it's connected to all sorts of historical horrible stuff that eating pizza by Italian people is not. Secondly, it's not Jews love money and Italians love pizza, right? Everyone loves money. Jews are the ones tagged with the stereotype that they are so obsessed with money above and beyond everybody else that they conspire to acquire it in a way that's different than everybody else. I mean, have you met black people who hate money? Have you met white people who say, oh, money, throw it out, put it in the trash, burn it? Of course not. Because it's not about liking money. Ascribing it to Jews is about something above and beyond that. It's the conspiracy to obtain money, including by immoral or illegal or deceptive means, by controlling certain industries. And it's different. It's unique in some way. And it's linked to thousands of years of anti-Semitic tropes, stereotypes, and discrimination. Now, Rogan might genuinely not know that. And so that's why I'm being careful and saying, I'm not alleging Joe Rogan is an anti-Semite in saying these things. I think he just doesn't understand or know the reasons why this is very different than Italians like pizza. The last thing about this is the analogy to pizza is also a terrible one, because Italians liking pizza isn't a collective action linked to anti-Italian tropes and stereotypes about Italian conspiracy to like pizza or eat pizza. Like, it doesn't even make sense. As I say it, it doesn't make any sense. You're talking about something that is individual. When the discussion is about Jews liking money, it's no longer about individuals, right? It's not about, oh, Jon Stewart likes money. He loves money. It's a trait that is ascribed to the group working together. And that's where this entire like conspiracy stuff comes from. So it's really important. A lot of times when people say this stuff, they don't actually know or understand the origins, and they go, I don't know. It's just like saying Jews love money is like saying black people are good at basketball, is like saying whatever. These sound like positive things, but they're interlaced inextricably with really ugly historical things, stereotyping, xenophobia, all sorts of stuff. And so it is really easy sometimes for people to defend this sort of thing and say, liking money, it's not even a bad thing. But it would be better if people understood the history and really what it was that they were talking about. So again, I have no personal beef with Rogan, and whether or not I've been blacklisted from his show, I genuinely have no idea. But everything I've ever said on this show about the things Joe has said, I'd be willing to talk about with him. I'm not hiding behind a microphone or behind a screen or any of it. I don't know if he has any interest in that, but I am glad to anytime on his program or on mine. You might remember that a few years ago, the show got hacked and many thousands of dollars were stolen. We never got it back. It's a terrible feeling. It can happen to anyone. But a couple of years ago, we got Aura, which really gives us significantly more peace of mind. And our sponsor, Aura, is the app that protects you from scammers by alerting you anytime your info like email, passwords, social security number are found in data breaches. Aura also automatically requests removal of your info from search engines, and it can reduce spam calls. Aura alerts you quickly about suspicious credit inquiries, like if someone tries to take a loan out in your name. And Aura's password manager makes it easy to keep your account secure to begin with. Aura also has parental controls for your kids' devices. You can restrict apps or manage screen time, set focus time, make sure they're doing homework instead of binging on YouTube. You can try Aura free for 14 days at aura.com/Pacman. Use the free trial to see if your email, password are already out there. You may be surprised. The link is down below.